Hello friends, it's your favorite neighborhood nerd Simone with a journal share. I have been collecting good words for later quotes in a journal for the past 3 years or so. And I recently finished it and I thought I would show you what this turned out to be and then where I am housing the next iteration of this journal. So this notebook was actually made by my friend Amy of Lilikoi Journals, and it is a junk journal made with various different kinds of papers. I was going to use this as something else, and I filled 3 or 4 pages before I started repurposing it for what I had used it later. And when I was done with this notebook, I decided to just use my stapler and staple these pages together so I would open to my quotes instead. I did not want to rip out the pages because this was a handmade journal. So I am going to flip through this. Maybe I'll read it to you, maybe I won't. There's nothing that I need to hide, but maybe it's going to be too long. So sometimes I find some inspirational stuff on Instagram, and then I don't know where to put it, and that's where I write these things. Be a rainbow in someone else's cloud. It's okay to just be sometimes. It wasn't time then. Then healing isn't linear. Then I stuck in a quote from Victor Hugo. Even the darkest night will end and the sun will rise. All is not lost. This is a sticky note that I put on top here. And then this is, I'm not sure if it's 100% quoted from the song 3 Things by Jason Mraz, but I can read it to you. I cry my eyes out and I dry up my heart, gathering new strength from sorrow. Above the clouds, the sun is shining. I pause, I take a breath and bow, and I let that chapter end. This is a German one. When spring is coming, it would be, I don't even know how to translate this into English. This is praise of spring. Wenn der Frühling ins Land zieht, wäre es eine Beleidigung der Natur, nicht einzustimmen in ihr Jauchzen. John Milton. Probably is translated from English into German, and now I am having a hard time translating it back into English. It's basically saying that when spring is coming around, we are, what is beleidigen? An affront to nature if we didn't also chime into its beautiful song. And these are things that I made myself, these flowers here. Everything grows better with love. Then I copied a quote by Brandy Kincaid. You will see a lot of the things that are in here have been taken from the Extravagant Hope mailers that Brandy sends out every month. And this one is, today I will not punish myself or anyone else for not being perfect when we are here for practice. This is a flower collage that I made. When your world moves too fast and you lose yourself in the chaos, introduce yourself to each color of the sunset. Reacquaint yourself with the earth beneath your feet. Thank the air that surrounds you with every breath you take. Find yourself in the appreciation of life. Then I made this collage here. And then this one is just simple. Creativity takes courage. This is a quote. We tell ourselves stories in order to live. And this is copied out of the letter. Every month, Brandy Kincaid sends out an extravagant hope mailer. It includes a letter. And what I've started to do is read it, highlight what speaks to me, copy that specific passage, and then pass along the letter. And so these are the passages that I copied out. How can I help? I know the answer feels vague and we never feel like what we offer is enough, but the very act of asking is where hope begins. To change the world, we must first love it enough to know it is worthy and capable of being better, and we do not love it by being blind to its horrors or in turn its heart. We need not show up gloriously, though we sometimes will. We need simply to show up, to ask, to listen, to try. Loving the world and its people enough to change it even when our efforts feel so small. And then this sticker went totally with this, so I stuck it here. We need not show up gloriously. We must just show up as we are. Brandy as usual. You are not a beacon of light despite the dark clouds that move in from day to day, maybe moment to moment. You are a beacon of light because you've learned how to shine through them, learned how to let it be dark now and then, because the light always returns. You always return. I think it's good to make space to remember we can hold both, all of it. That hope isn't having to leave everything that is hard behind before it can get better, but letting it go for just long enough that we shift what we see. Maybe what we'll let go of is some of the space we allot to what we're doing wrong, so that we can give hope to a chance to help us see what we can, have, and are doing right. You are doing so much right. And then I stuck in a card that she sent with it. You can take your time and figure out your new way. Then I put a quote. All the variety, all the charm, all the beauty of life is made up of light and shadow. Here's another excerpt from a letter. It matters that even when we make a mess or miss our mark, don't give up the whole for the part. It matters that we don't let our stumbles stop us, our imperfections paralyze us, or the tendency to compare and despair override what we most know to be true, which is how incredibly special we are, as much at the bumbling beginning as will be at the confident end. Let's greet what's ahead with curiosity and courage, the kind that makes room for us to get a lot wrong before we get any of it right. And then here is one. This one I think she wrote in January of 2024. This one is from February 2024. In order to make it through the hardest parts of the days, we've had to prioritize celebrating every tiny victory. We've had to pay attention like we never have before, which is saying a lot, and let every small win matter. These days, paying attention to and celebrating our tiny victories has become the way we speak to ourselves and each other with love and grace and patience. Our goals are more gettable when they include making time for a walk, remembering to post the mail, slowing down to eat lunch, and making it through all our PT homework in a day. This was very specific to her, but it reminded me that this is very important. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. Then I put a quote. I don't think being good at things is the point of doing them. I think you've got all these wonderful experiences with different skills, and that all teaches you things and makes you an interesting person, no matter how well you do them. And I found that on Instagram. This one is from August 2024. For every again that has my shoulders, stomach, and heart in knots, there's another that makes me want to weep with joy, and that's right about where we are most days. Alive in a world that refuses to slow down and take it easy. The waiting is a hard and beautiful place, one I've written to you about before, because I believe so strongly that our presence where we are is so important. Right now, though, what I want to remind you is that you're not alone in the waiting. And while we're all waiting for different things, for rest and ease, for results and homecomings, for seasons and next steps, the practice of being present in the in-between is one we do better together. We know how to work and how to wait, how to hold on tight and how to let go, and we will do it all again. I'm so grateful you're out there. I'll be with you in the waiting is the sticker that accompanied this letter, and sometimes it just works really well, and so I stick it in. This one is a card that I got sent in the very beginning of when I joined Extravagant Hope. You don't have a right to the cards you believe you should have been dealt. You have an obligation to play the hell out of the ones you're holding. In between. And because there's always an end, these in-between spaces are where we live most. It's interesting. This is also an in-between thing. I think that's why this speaks so much to me so much, is because I am a very black and white person, and I struggle with the in-between so much, so that whenever Brandy reminds me of the in-between and that it's okay to be there, I soak it all up. Okay. And because there is always an end, these in-between spaces are where we live most, where we stretch and explore. The in-between spaces are where we find the magic that hides under the everydayness of being alive. Those pink petals floating the moment a process we're practicing finally clicks, or the glimmers of hope we see when some of our worry makes way for wonder. Wherever you are out there, when this reaches you, whatever in-betweens you're finding yourself making your way through, I hope you sit for a bit too in the almost but not quite yet, where it's wild but often wonderful. And then here, remember that all of the things you should never postpone. Wow, this is so important, and I read it wrong. Okay, let me try again. Remember that of all the things you should never postpone, make sure joy is at the top of the list. I've been learning to shift the pressure of questions into invitations, seeing them less as trigger points to panic in response as I grope for the perfect answer, but more as offerings of space for me to learn and consider what they're asking and what they might need. Questions shift from gatekeepers and tests to doorways and possibilities. Life was, after all, made up of tiny choices. Like a pointillist painting, no one dot, no one choice defined it. But together, there emerged a picture, a life. This is from the very first beginning pages of the Louise Penny Gamage number 19 novel. Then I just stuck in these cards. Appreciation begets abundance. And this one says, keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. This is really weird to read, but I will read it to you anyways. The person who is talking speaks broken English, And so I copied it how it was in the book that I read. Middle way of being, middle way of living with what is hard and who do not accept you. How do you do that? You keep remember, all is change. All what? All life. You are never finish, never done. Never become, always becoming, you know? Life is change, so is always okay, you are not there yet. The people who do not understand are change. The people who afraid are change. There is no before and no after, because change is what is life. You live in change in between. And this is from the novel This Is How It Always Is by Laurie Frankel, which, again, this is an in-between space. And all of the things that I've read to you here is also about the in-between. I'm thinking a lot right now about these interruptions, about how we handle them and how we hold them, about what we take with us when we're done and how we return to our work in the world. I think about how incredible it is that hope, that those little symbols of hope make their way so far, and also how important it is to remember they begin their journey so close to home. If all of life's interruptions make it hard to hold hope right now, I hope you'll keep this little leaf from me close. A symbol of hope in practice, not just promise. Hope making its way in the world, but beginning first close to home. We're still here. We're still doing this. This is, and as you can see, I also started to give these some of these snippets that I copy out of the letters titles, because this was clearly about interruption. Your grief does not negate your joy, and your joy doesn't negate your grief. You can hold both. Be brave and curious, not fearful and suspicious. Many people will walk in and out of your life, but only true friends will leave footprints in your heart. Being ourselves and making space for others to do the same takes time. But if we get to decide when we begin again, then maybe the tug of a ticking clock no longer has power over us the same way. We aren't running out of time. We are just getting started. We don't have to shrink or expand to fit. There is room for us just as we are. Living a good life looks like showing up for whatever percentage we can muster in that moment and doing it again the next, not because we're sure it will all work out, but because we're just stubborn enough to keep trying. It's not all or nothing. I think there is a day missing here. And then the last one, I think that I copied out. No. It's tempting to forget that the here and now offers its goodness too, and that this is good too, and lovely and brave to wish for what we want. But it's also pretty darn amazing to be able to stand where we are and make a little magic in the middle of the messy or mundane. What if, instead of wishing away where we are, we found ways to thrive while we wait? The next season will come, whatever that looks like for you, but this one too is not to be missed. I think the best way to find happiness is to stop looking so hard. You must live in the present, launch yourself on every wave, find your eternity in each moment. Fools stand on their island of opportunities and look toward another land. There is no other land, there is no other life but this. This is by Thoreau. And then this one is another quote by an author. We cannot be taught wisdom. We have to discover it for ourselves by a journey which no one can undertake for us, an effort which no one can spare us. And then the last one that I have here in this book is happiness, not in another place but this place, not in another hour but this hour, by Walt Whitman. I feel like now that I've read through this to you, there's a lot of the same motives that speak to me all the time, which is to enjoy life where it is right now, to live in the moment, to be in the in-betweens, to do what makes me happy right now, to not give up hope. All of those motives come up over and over again. And I'm very happy to have this to look back on. I love writing these things down because I feel by writing them down, I absorb them differently. They're not all of them are super pretty and heavily decorated. I feel like that's just how this turned out to be, and I'm so excited that it's done. I've made one of those, something very similar, sometime last year for all of my Ko-fi members because I enjoyed using this so much. And so I made one extra for myself. And this is what I'm going to use to capture all of those snippets that I captured in here. I love that it is so textured, that there is so many different experiences that I can make. There's different paper, there's stuff stuck in, it's sticking out. Different papers, there's a little bit of decoration everywhere, and so I'm very much looking forward to doing the same with this one. So I just used random pieces of paper that I know to be fountain pen friendly. That was important to me this time around. And so I can use this as a hinge to stick something on, but I could also write a tiny little quote on here as well. Mostly the short ones I will use, as I said, as hinges to stick something else on top of it. But all of these papers are fountain pen friendly, and I'm very excited to be using this. There is no timed. I could stick something in here. I could put something on top of here, stick something in here. We'll see how that is going to go. And because I know that I added quite a bit of stuff in here, I made sure to not make this too big in order for it to be able to grow more. And also, it's really exciting to finish something. This I made extra long so that I can cut it down if I needed to, or I could fold something out, stick something on here, fold it out to have more. Yeah, I would call this a what did I say? What did I call this? A soft approach to junk journaling. There is not a lot of different sizes of papers. So if you wanted to do this, I would highly recommend starting out like this, because these junk journals are quite intimidating. And then my friend Amy, again, gave this to me, which is one of those pocket notebooks from the Tokyo Starbucks Reserve. And what I've been doing is, in my extravagant hope mailers, there's often these cards that speak to me, but I don't necessarily want to stick them down, because maybe I will want to put them somewhere else, or maybe I want to pass them along to someone that I feel like this works really well. So they're temporarily living with me until either I find a specific spot in my actual big journal, or a friend who might need this card, And so they're living here for a while. And I really love how this accompanies my quotes journal. It's also really fun that it is in a small passport-sized traveler's notebook because they, for some reason, feel less intimidating. I just recently purchased this from Vanessa. And yeah, I have this right next to me, and every time I feel like I want to write down a quote, copy something from a book, or copy out a passage of one of Brandy's letters, I can do that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this was inspiring to you. I hope you enjoyed me reading this journal to you. If you don't have one of those, I highly recommend making one for yourself and starting to collect awesome stuff.